Good morning, everybody. May I ask everyone to please take your seats as we officially open our conference this morning. Welcome to Innovate for Climate 2024. It's really good to be in Berlin, in the German capital, this morning to get our business underway. Welcome. I see a few people just getting to their seats. Thank you all so much to the early birds who made it here on time. We appreciate your attendance. Some of you look a little bit jet-lagged. You've come from far, but we're just glad that we can all be here this morning to kick off our conference. It's a great pleasure to be your host for the next few days. My name is Christine Mundwa, and it's really exciting because I'm reliably informed that we have a diverse and a distinguished audience, people representing both the private and the public sector. And over the next few days, this is really about putting our heads together as we foster that next wave of progress in carbon markets and in carbon pricing. If you've been to the conference before, you'll know that this is more than just a conference. Innovate for Climate is really a platform for us to share ideas, to collaborate, to exchange, to connect. It's about sharing knowledge and most importantly, showcasing our solutions. And you'll see that in the composition of our program, in our agenda, that this is really about putting our heads together, discussing solutions. And I'm excited to be engaging with some of you over the next few days. We will get our keynote and opening remarks this morning from representatives from two very pivotal voices in the effort of climate innovation, and that is the World Bank as well as our host country here, Germany. For those of you who are on social media platforms, the hashtag we're using this year is Innovate for Climate. And I want to just take a moment now to acknowledge the support of our partners and our sponsors, without whom this conference would not have been possible. So just a shout out to our sponsors and our partners. And now to really begin the day, I want to invite Axel van Trossenberg to the stage. He is Senior Managing Director at the World Bank. His extensive experience in global development as well as climate finance is really crucial leadership, Axel, that you'll provide us this perspective of the critical role of innovation in the combating of climate change. Over to you, Axel.
Well, thank you very much, Christine, and good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. On behalf of the World Bank, I would like to welcome you to Innovate for Climate 2024. Auch einen schönen guten Tag und herzlich willkommen. Es freut uns sehr, dass wir hier in Berlin diese Konferenz abhalten können und möchte mich vor allem bei der deutschen und auch bei der spanischen Regierung bedanken. A heartfelt thanks to the governments of Germany and Spain for being our gracious host this year for the I4C. This year's theme is about advancing carbon pricing and fostering carbon markets for a livable planet. Over the next few days, we will engage in critical and dynamic discussions about how we can enhance carbon markets and carbon pricing to be more effective and impactful. More than ever, we need to act urgently to secure a sustainable future for the generations to come. This urgency is a topic in general for climate change. It's dramatic, and we should not lose sight of it, that we need to act. We have all seen the devastating news of record-breaking temperatures, deadly heat waves, droughts. We don't need to be reminded. We can talk about the Earth's warming to record temperature every year. We know there is an urgency to act. We don't want to leave no stone unturned in the search for more financing and greater impact on climate. While the climate crisis is accelerated, there are solutions out there, including investments, policies, and development pathways that can make a significant difference. Carbon pricing is one of the most powerful tools available to policymakers to incentivize least cost emissions reductions and support low emission growth. A decade ago, carbon price policy covered only 7% of global emissions. Today, they cover nearly a quarter. In 2020, carbon pricing revenue reached over 100 billion, to be precise, $104 billion. These figures are promising, but to unlock the full potential of carbon pricing, we need to increase both the pricing levels and the coverage while addressing impact on the most vulnerable populations. Carbon markets also hold tremendous potential for advancing and financing global climate action. Their success depends on being trustworthy, transparent, delivering real emission reductions while directing much-needed finance to communities and countries most affected by climate change. And while they offer real potential, carbon markets have suffered a lot of setbacks. This shouldn't be a surprise. There is some confusion, lack of clear signals, lack of enforcement, lack of credibility of this market, and markets are responding accordingly. So we need to work better on this side, on the regulatory part, on enforcement, and we need to address the shortfalls. We would like to see what kind of role the bank can usefully play to make these carbon markets better function in and be generators of billions of dollars for climate financing. How can we get to a more ambitious framework that ensures much more money coming from these markets for climate? I know this isn't easy, although success is not guaranteed, but we need to work on this. At the World Bank, we recognize this potential. At COP28, we launched a carbon market engagement roadmap to work with partners across the carbon markets ecosystem to boost market integrity, build in-country capacity, and support the scaling of carbon markets. The I4C showcases the best of the World Bank's knowledge work, not just cutting-edge analytics and data, but by demonstrating how this information is being channeled for impact. For example, our analytical work on carbon pricing is helping us support over 30 countries in establishing domestic carbon pricing mechanisms and preparing for the next generation of international carbon markets through our partnership for market implementation. Our efforts in strengthening carbon market are a crucial part of the World Bank's Ascent program, which aims to deliver to 100 million people in over 20 countries in Eastern and Southern Africa electricity, and by deploying 5 billion from the bank and leveraging innovating financing options like carbon markets, we aim to raise an additional $10 billion. So I'm very happy that also quite a few representatives from the Ascent countries are joining here today and in the next couple of days, so welcome. Last year, the World Bank delivered about the World Bank Group delivered about $42 billion to support climate financing. This is about the double since, more than double than since 2020, and it represents over 40% of our commitments, and this year we want to aim at 45% of our total financial commitments. And that is maybe good news for the World Bank. I think we need to be staying very ambitious, not only at the World Bank, but the entire multilateral system, bilaterals and the private sector. The demands are huge, and we need to respond accordingly. So you can count on this, but what we need to have is a much, much stronger coalition between governments, between private sector, and then the international public sector, particularly from the UN system to the multilateral development banks. It's only through these coalitions that we have a fighting chance to make progress. And therefore, I really hope that this conference is not only looking hard at all the shortcomings of the carbon market, but then see, instead of making the diagnostic that nothing works, we need to work the problems. And then basically recognize it's not easy, therefore you want to have these convenings. I'm grateful that there also Spain and Germany is pushing on this. So I really would invite you for hard discussion, and maybe not everything we can solve here, but maybe we should ask the right questions so that we can take that forward and look what the potential is. Because only that gives us actually chances to make progress. You can count on the bank, not only that on the financing, but also on the analytics, and that we jointly can maybe look next year to have made more progress and ultimately create a viable carbon market. So a warm welcome, and I hope that you have great discussions and also an ambitious work program going forward. I would like to see solutions, but we won't have them in these days. But at least we should have a great work program on which we all can work. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Axel. Your leadership is appreciated as we navigate the path forward to a sustainable future, because that is what all of this is about ultimately. The winter hasn't arrived, but the summer is over, and we still got a very warm welcome here in Berlin. And it is very nice that we will get our next set of remarks from Mr. Berthold Goeke. He is the Director General for Climate Action in the German Federal Ministry of Economic Affairs and Climate Action. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Christine. Dear Axel, esteemed participants from all over the world, I'm very pleased to welcome you to the Innovate for Climate conference here in Berlin. This is especially a pleasure for me, as I4C is the first time in Berlin this year. I still have very fond memories of the I4C predecessor conference, the Carbon Expo, in 2013 in Barcelona and 2014 in Cologne. The I4C 2024 follows the theme Advancing Carbon Pricing and Fostering Carbon Markets for a Livable Planet, and therefore places carbon markets and carbon pricing, their potential and practical application questions at the center of the agenda. These are crucial topics. We need instruments that can aggressively reduce greenhouse gas emissions, bring the world on a net zero pathway, and bring together climate, economic, and social goals. Carbon pricing and carbon markets, that's my conviction, can do this. I'm really convinced that well-designed and ambitious carbon pricing instruments in combination with a smart and complementary policy mix will have a key role to play for the transformation of our economies. Carbon markets and pricing instruments can promote just transition strategies and incentivize the shift of investment flows into low-emission technologies across all sectors. They offer the opportunity to generate public funds that can be redistributed to further foster the decarbonization of the economy, as well as to mitigate possible social negative impacts. Carbon market instruments, ladies and gentlemen, have the potential to promote the global transition to net zero emissions. We do, however, need trustworthy carbon markets of high integrity to make sure we do not undermine our climate and sustainability goals. Public funds are not enough to achieve the international climate targets and to finance the measures that will be necessary for this endeavor. Mobilizing private capital is crucial to drive transformational change. Carbon pricing is an effective tool to mobilize private funds for investments in low-emission technologies. Another option, dear colleagues, is to channel private funds is the voluntary carbon market. The prerequisite for the VCMs is, however, that the emission reduction certificates traded are of high integrity. Axel has also pointed out this aspect. The crediting for climate neutrality targets of companies must be justified, and the use of credits should not replace or delay companies' own emission reduction efforts. Thus, avoidance or reduction should always be prioritized. In addition to the climate action effect, high-quality certificates should also contribute to sustainable development and create social, economic, and environmental benefits for the host countries. There have also been reasonable doubts and criticism on project quality, particularly in the area of forest protection projects, where a greatly inflated number of certificates was issued without being able to demonstrate a corresponding reduction in emissions. To make it clear, such certificates should not be traded as reduction certificates on carbon markets. Market instruments must be implemented in a transparent, high-quality manner on both the supply and the demand side. For us, this also means that the voluntary carbon market has to be aligned with the targets of the Paris Agreement and must be brought closer to the quality requirements of Article 6. I4C should play a key role in moving forward the mobilization of private sector financing through carbon markets while ensuring high integrity of the market. The German Federal Ministry for Economic Affairs and Climate Action has long supported the I4C conference and the possibility for international exchange that it offers. I believe that an exchange of ideas and best practices and learning from one another is key for successful implementation of climate action. As a dialogue platform between the public and the private sector, it can function as a hub for inspiration, new ideas, and innovations, as well as new partnerships. As the world prepares for COP29 in Baku in November and beyond, Innovate for Climate 2024 represents a pivotal moment for shaping the future of carbon markets and pricing. With its focused agenda and strategic collaborations, the conference is set to provide a platform for deep, meaningful discussions that can drive progress in the global fight against climate change. I want to thank the World Bank colleagues for bringing I4C to Berlin and doing such a great job in organizing this event. I also want to thank ICAP and IETA for supporting this year's I4C agenda and together with the World Bank putting together such an inspiring format and interesting program. Last but not least, I want to thank Spain for the continuously great collaboration of the I4C over the past years. It is, I want to put that out very clear, it is a great pleasure to work with you on this conference. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you 3 fruitful conference days and successful networking at I4C. Thank you very much.